This is sprang, originated in the Iron Age. And this is a doll with a little spring loom set up. This is what I have, the picture frame, the dowel, top and bottom. You wrap the yarn around. This is cotton. Linen would work even better. And then this is what sprang looks like. It's very, very stretchy. These dowels are spacers. And as I weave a row, I take the top and bottom dowel out and put them in for the next spacers. Okay, this is a 2-row repeat. The first row starts with taking 2 loops from the front, and then you do 1 from the back, 1 from the front, all the way across. I've already done that. This is the second row. So I take 1 loop from the back,
No,
move it forward, 1 from the front, and move it back. And you just keep repeating that. 1 forward, 1 back, forward, back, all the way across.
Oh.
This is something simple to do. It's just a little time consuming. But you can make bags, you can make hair nets. The military still uses sprang for sashes on their uniforms. George Washington's girdle was a sprang sash. In the Middle Ages, before knitting, they used sprang for their hose. Sometimes they would wrap fabric around their legs, sometimes they would sew hose out of cloth on the bias, but sprang is so stretchy that it worked best for hose. And this is all just forward and back all the way across.
So you kind of start on one side.
But this is the closed sprang. This is a 2-row pattern. And if you go on the internet and type in sprang and go to stringpages.com, the instructions are there showing this, and it's showing the open work, which is a 4-row pattern, and then there's a diamond pattern, which is, I think it was 14 rows.
And there's instructions in my little bag. And
But there's no difference in length when you make it a bag, but in width, it's very, very stretchy. So you can stuff a lot of stuff into one of these bags. See, I'm still just going 1 forward, 1 back. Just being careful not to accidentally pick up 2. Because if I do that, then I've got a mistake, and when I catch it, I've got to take and unweave. But this creates a mirror image. What you're weaving on the top is the same as the bottom. When you get done, you take with the loops and a crochet hook and make a crocheted stitch all the way across, tying it off at the very end. Take a little piece of string and tie the last loop to the one before it. Or you can take a piece of yarn and thread it through this and tie it off at each end. Either way works. Either way would have been the way that they did it. And that keeps it from unweaving itself. And as you can see, I'm almost done.
Down here to the other end. And what that will do is...
This is pretty simple to do, just a little time consuming. Okay, I'm done.
Put some more down there.
And I tighten up so that the tension is the same. Double check the back. I don't have any loops sticking up there, so I did not make any mistakes. So everything's done right, so I take and pull these out. And it's ready to do the next row. Ta-da!
By itself, not by itself. If I'm going to do just embroider by itself, I go to the hand cards.
Yeah.
Because that's just the best thing. And it's not that slow. It's pretty easy. But if I want to do a lot, I mean, I have to sandwich it in between something else with a little more
Since
body.
everybody's here, I'm going to ask about these things.
Yeah.
Let's see, was this part of it?
Yeah. That's a brush for the carder. That's a carder
But I'm
brush.
wondering if that's for cleaning these out.
No, we might have used it for that.
Does
gotta be
anybody
careful
know
with
what
those
these
things.
are?
Those are English combs.
English combs.
English combs.
And what are they used for?
For combing, so you end up with top rather than roving.
For top.
It gets all the vegetable matter out. It aligns the fibers so they are all parallel.
Can you do it with this?
You can do it with that. It's clamped down.
Oh, it clamps down in
Yeah, the
there?
Viking combs you can do them both in your hands, one in each hand. The English though, that gets clamped to the table and then one of the combs gets clamped in it. Here, let me show you.
I don't seem to have it clamped here, but
Okay, let me get over here and I'll show you how
I'm
to
just gonna push the chair back that way somewhere.
So this would be fastened to the with a clamp.
Fastened to the-
And
That could knock you out.
let's see.
I know.
I haven't even done the
I know,
English
gotta be
ones.
careful.
It would go this way.
Duck and cover.
They look pretty lethal.
Yeah. And you put your fiber in here. So you dressed it with the fiber. And then you take this. And you just keep doing this until you've got it all on. And then you switch the combs. And you do it 3 or 4 times. You take this one out. This one's going to be empty. This one will go in, and then you'll take this one to go across.
Okay. Huh. I have not experienced
I'm over.
such a thing.
I've never done the English combs.
They seem quite heavy.
They are, that's why one's clamped down to the table.
You want me to do it from this
Are
side?
they like a,
I'll be the clamp.
okay, you do the clamp.
Well, it's not going to pick that up anymore.
No, the
That,
problem
so-
is this is too fine. The fiber is too fine. You would have
This is
some of these
heavy.
combs,
This is heavy.
yeah, this would be for a heavier wool. You'd have some of these combs where the tines are spaced closer. That's what you would use for the Angora, the alpaca.
So this is for like a heavy wool.
Some of your double-coated sheep like Icelandics, Navigature, which is a white wool. So
Maybe
this
my
would-
llama down there.
Yeah, you can try the llama.
Although he's pretty fine as,
Yeah.
as these things go. So you're putting it,
I'm not really.
Oh,
You're
I
not
know.
really supposed to.
you're just
Just
experimenting.
playing. Okay, then we can switch and see if we can get that.
Okay, so now this one comes
This
out.
has got lots of rows on here. That's
So like I say, this would be clamped to the table. And there's,
and you would go across this way.
yeah,
So you'd be using these to pull something
that.
that was really heavily in there. Or it
And
would probably,
heavily tangled. Maybe.
yeah.
Let's see, that's not gonna.
Those look extremely dangerous.
These are not. They're not.
let me tell you a story about the
They're not
Viking combs.
really so-
The Viking combs were single or double tined. These are 4 tines, 4 rows of tines. And the Viking combs are curved. Well, if you ever read anything that talks about when the raiders came to attack the Viking villages, the women would come out with their combs to defend themselves. They're talking about the Viking combs. So they were talking about something similar to this. So
this-
imagine a bunch of women coming at you with these things in your hands, in their hands.
That would be quite a
It's not
weapon.
really.
Uh-huh.
I think you're gonna have so much waste here. I don't think that's-
Well, somebody I knew that did this, the waste she gave to someone else to spin on the spinning wheel.
Oh, yeah.